Welcome to the Strange Files, where reflection becomes emergence, taking ordinary things and spiraling them into life principles, metaphors, and new perspectives on possibility, seeing life from new angles. Have you ever looked at an ordinary object and thought, that can teach me something? Such as, a whisk can become a reflection on connection. A train track can become a way of understanding progressive recurrence. Even your housework can reveal something about maintenance, rhythm, and life. This podcast is a place for spiraling life principles through ordinary things and for exploring the reflections, patterns, and perceptions that shape how we move through life. It's an exploration about noticing and about what becomes possible when we see from new angles. I often use ordinary things as metaphors because everyday life can carry more meaning than we first notice. It's less about giving answers and more about opening exploration from a different lens. It's not overthinking. It's evolving thought that can provoke new perspectives. Awareness can refine expression. So hold on to your seats. This ride could get a little weird. I'm Lisa. Welcome to the Strange Files. Choo-choo! All right. I think we have officially arrived at the Strange Files station now. The reflections are deep, the goblin energy is active, and honestly, it's getting a little weirder in here now. Have you ever noticed how life sometimes feels a little bit like a train track? The same thoughts, the same emotional stations, the same memories showing up at random times like, surprise, oh, we're processing this again today. And for a long time, I think a lot of us mistake that for being stuck. Like somehow revisiting certain emotions or patterns means we haven't moved forwards. But honestly, I don't think that's always true. Because the more I reflected on it, the more I realized something. Maybe it's not always returning. Maybe sometimes it's simply passing by. A train doesn't stop existing because it revisits familiar stations. It moves through them. So basically, the brain goes choo-choo back through the same emotional areas until you finally realize what the hell was happening there in the first place. Because life doesn't always move in straight lines. Sometimes our thoughts move in circuits. We'll revisit memories, emotions, relationships, familiar patterns, and old versions of ourselves again and again. But every time we pass through these stations, we arrive there from a different place within ourselves. A different awareness, different emotional positioning, different understanding. And because of that, although it may look like the same stop, it's actually a completely different arrival. We assume recurring thoughts automatically mean regression, but often they're actually recognition. Another layer, another perspective, another piece of understanding slowly clicking into place. Like, oh, that's why I emotionally derailed myself there. Because over time, you start recognizing the patterns underneath the track itself, the cycles, the repeated directions, the destinations you somehow keep arriving at. And eventually, you begin asking deeper questions. Why do I keep entering this pattern? Why does this emotional station keep appearing? What direction have I actually been traveling in this whole time? And honestly, awareness changes everything. Because once you understand the track you've been following, you gain the ability to consciously choose a different direction. Not through force, not through pretending the patterns never existed, but through understanding. Because growth isn't about pretending you've never revisited a difficult station. It's about arriving there one day and realizing You are no longer reacting the same way. You are no longer carrying the same emotional weight. And you are no longer becoming completely emotionally hijacked by a random Tuesday memory from 2017. Because awareness transformed the journey. And maybe that's the real reflection in all of this. Life isn't always trapping us in cycles. Sometimes it's simply giving us another opportunity to understand the track clearly enough to choose a different destination. So maybe take a moment to reflect on the tracks you've been traveling in your own life. What thoughts or emotional stations keep reappearing for you? Are you reliving them, or are you beginning to understand them differently each time you return? Where have your patterns stayed the same? And where have you already started changing direction without fully realizing it yet? Because sometimes the destination doesn't change immediately. Sometimes what changes first is the awareness you arrive there with. Because maybe growth isn't about never revisiting certain emotional stations again. Maybe it's about recognizing that each time you arrive there, you're arriving with different awareness than before. And honestly, maybe healing isn't always about escaping the track entirely. Maybe sometimes it's about finally understanding where it's been trying to take you all along. We will pick this up again soon, and I will see you there.